The latest decision of Switzerland caused the markets to tumble, ladies and gentlemen. But there was one person who had seen all this coming. Jim Rogers, market guru, hedge fund manager and book author, and we are very pleased to have him with us today. Welcome, Jim. How are you today?
I am delighted to be here, Andreas. How are you?
Just fine. Jim, the Swiss National Bank revoked the minimum price to the euro. SNB's president said that means was necessary and can be justified. Do you agree?
It should never have been done in the first place. If he cannot justify doing it in the first place, so of course he can justify correcting the mistake, but this has cost Switzerland a lot of money and a lot of other people too. It was a terrible, terrible mistake in the beginning.
Wasn't there any other way for the SNB to do this? Maybe linking the franc to a basket of euro, dollar, or soften the price step by step gradually?
No, the only way you can correct a mistake is correct a mistake. I mean, you can try to do it slowly, but that just makes it worse. Then everybody knows, aha, they're correcting this mistake slowly, so it gives investors and speculators an even bigger opportunity. No, if you're going to do it, you have to do it and get it done.
Why do you think the SNB chose this radical measure now? Did they expect the ECB to flood the market with even more euros and for the franc to get even weaker?
Well, the European Bank has said they're going to do that. We presume they're telling, well, I don't know if they're telling the truth. We have to think they're telling the truth. So, of course, it's going to make the euro weaker, and that would have had a problem, made a bigger problem for the Swiss National Bank and the Swiss franc, so they had to do something, or they were going to lose even more money. I mean, they may have lost 80 billion Swiss francs on this move. This is a terrible thing for Switzerland.
But people even more invest in the franc. How do you explain the strength of the Swiss franc on this other hand?
The Swiss franc is just less bad than the euro at this point. The Swiss franc is less bad than some other currencies at this point. That's the only thing. People are looking for a sound place to put their money. They're not any sound paper money anymore, so they have to look for the one that's the least bad. The Swiss franc is one of the less bad.
Many Swiss entrepreneurs criticize this measure. Switzerland will lose competitiveness this way. What do you think?
Well, of course, some people who are not very efficient in making products or selling products are going to lose business at this point. There's nothing that you can do about that. On the other hand, some people are going to gain. All the Swiss citizens are going to be better off because everything that Switzerland imports is now cheaper. You know, every Swiss citizen is going to have a cheaper cost of living, so many people will benefit, some people will suffer.
The stock market in Zurich has dropped at the end. Is this justifiable?
Well, it's certainly justifiable because there's a major change, and whenever there's a major change, people have to sell the things that are going to suffer. And since many of the Swiss companies will suffer, you have to sell. Also, some of the people who are not going to suffer so badly, people sold them too, because when there's uncertainty, people don't want to invest in stocks. They want to be out. They want to be where there's certainty. The stock markets no markets, in fact, like uncertainty.
And on the other hand, what do you think about the Swiss quality stocks like Nestlé, Lindt & Sprüngli or Roche?
Well, the company Nestlé, for instance, to use that example, Nestlé does a lot of its business outside of Switzerland. So this is actually probably good for Nestlé. All the products it sells abroad will do well, do even better, because now they're cheaper in many countries. So yes, this is going to help some companies. Anything Nestlé exports from Switzerland will be more expensive now, but Nestlé's got a huge international business. Nestlé's not just a Swiss business, and neither is Lindt. A lot of the companies in Switzerland are basically international companies now, and they sell most of their products abroad.
And on the other hand, do you think a lot of people expect now the euro to continue to be weak?
Well, the euro has been weak for a long time. I actually bought some euros yesterday, expecting some kind of perhaps rally. The euro has been going down for some time. The euro is not a sound currency. The euro has many, many problems. I may be wrong. My timing is probably bad, but I've started buying some for maybe a rally. But over the long term, Andreas, no, the euro has a lot of serious problems.
What about gold? Gold seems to be celebrated a comeback in the past few days. Has gold found its bottom now?
Well, I own gold. I'm not. I did buy a little bit yesterday, not enough to really talk about. But I expect there to be another chance to buy gold later in the next year or two. I think we will have another opportunity, so I am waiting. If it doesn't happen, I've got plenty of gold. If it happens, I hope I'm smart enough to buy a lot more gold.
So at the end of the day or at the end of the year, you think 2015 will be a good year for gold?
2016, 2017, yes. I'm not sure about 2015.
So more or less in the long term. Stock in mines and in commodities interesting for you at the moment?
I bought a few shares of gold mining shares. I have not bought gold mining shares in many years. I bought a few yesterday just in case this is the beginning of the move. I still expect a better opportunity to buy gold and gold mining shares later this year or next.
In terms of commodities, what are you currently looking at?
Well, I'm very optimistic about agriculture. Agricultural prices are down a lot over the past couple of decades. Over the past 30 years, agriculture has been a terrible business. So I am optimistic. Agriculture is one of the areas of the world economy in which I am most optimistic going forward.
And on the other hand, which commodities do you expect to drop in this year?
I don't know of any that will probably drop this year. Maybe oil might have some more down before it goes up, but I don't really know of any commodities that I would rush out and sell, not in 2015.
Since you mentioned oil, did you ever experience such a dramatic drop in oil price in your history?
Well, Andreas, I have seen a lot of big drops in many markets throughout my investing career over several decades. I have to tell you that this drop in oil was the most dramatic drop I have ever seen in any market in my career. Never been anything quite like it. So I would suspect if I had to, I would rather buy oil than sell oil just because there's been such an amazing drop in the price of oil. It's bound to have a rebound. The final bottom may not be here yet, but we're getting closer to the final bottom after this amazing drop.
What do you think will be the consequences by the end of the day after this dramatic drop of oil price?
A lot of people are going to benefit in a huge way. Germany is a lot better off. Switzerland, many countries are a lot better off. Japan, because of this drop in oil. Others, the people who produce oil, Russia, for instance, are in trouble. Venezuela, Iran, some of the countries are going to suffer badly because of this. But for the most part, worldwide, we're all better off. We have more money in our pocket.
The stock markets are at this time chasing one high after the other. It's unbelievable. Do you expect that this will continue, the rally for the Jones and DAX?
Well, there's a lot of money being printed around the world. This is the first time in recorded history that all the major central banks, Europe, Japan, Britain, America, are all printing huge amounts of money. So yes, as long as this continues, we're going to see some more strength in stock markets around the world. Andreas, this is artificial. It is not real. Do not think that this is the way the world works, because it's not. We have all of these central bankers who have no idea what they're doing, but they are making stocks go up higher for a while.
Artificial means after this night when we wake up, we will go through a nightmare? What do you think?
You're certainly going to have a nightmare, Andreas. You should be worried and you should be prepared or getting prepared, because this has never happened in history. If you look out the window, you'll see a rising tide of artificial money all over the world. It's going to end. And when it ends, it's going to be worse than 2008, Andreas, because now the debt is so much higher worldwide, and the amount of money that's been printed is so much higher. This is going to be terrible the next time it happens.
You said to be prepared. How do you prepare?
Well, it depends. People should prepare in ways that they understand. If I tell you to do something, you should not do it, Andreas, unless you understand it yourself. You should stay with what you know. What I am doing is trying to find places that are not so elevated: the Chinese stock market, the Japanese stock market, the Russian stock market, their agriculture. There are places where one can put one's money that are not artificially high right now. They may suffer, but they will probably suffer less the next time things go down a lot. But also somewhere along the line, I'm going to have to sell short a lot more. Everybody should learn how to sell short, because the next time we have a nightmare in the financial market, it's going to be one of the worst in our lifetime.
That's not so good to hear, but if you give some advices how to be prepared, and everybody has to think about his own personal situation. Jim Rogers, thank you very much for your time.
Oh, Andreas, it's my fault. My pleasure. I am a fan. So please, let's do it again sometime.
Okay, looking forward to talk to you soon.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
And ladies and gentlemen, thank you also for watching this, and hope to see you soon again, and also to see Jim Rogers again. Bye-bye.